This episode of the CZ Media Podcast is brought to you by Rancho Bravo Tacos. They have two convenient locations, Capitol Hill and Wallingford. I love going to Capitol Hill. I'll go order my food, whether it be tacos, burritos, or tamal. I love their tamales. They're fantastic. And then I'll go sit on the patio, enjoy my meal, and then wait for something interesting to happen. And given that it's Capitol Hill, something interesting always happens. If you don't have time to go to either location, you can always order through your favorite food ordering app, Uber Eats, Caviar, or Chow Now. They make it really easy to get all of your favorite items. So next time you're craving some delicious Mexican food, stop in or order. You'll be glad you did.
Tonight I'm feeling mean, I'm feeling mean. Tonight I'm feeling mean, I'm feeling mean. Tonight I'm feeling mean, gonna make an ugly scene. Tonight I'm feeling mean, I'm feeling mean. Tonight I'm gonna pick myself a fight. If some deserving dirtbag a black eye, and if he swings at me, then I'll bust that sucker's knee. 'Cause tonight I'm feeling mean, I'm feeling mean.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CZ Media Podcast. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Before we start, I want to remind you to check out our sponsors, Rancho Bravo Tacos. If you're in the Capitol Hill area or if you're in Wallingford, definitely stop by. They have a new birria taco, which is delicious, slow-cooked beef and a bunch of cheese and more cheese and this dipping sauce called consomme. It's super good. And I also want to welcome on officially a new sponsor, Soulmates. Full support, and we want to thank them. They are Seattle's premier sneaker shop. They're located at 1422 Harvard Ave in Capitol Hill, right above the QFC. So if you're looking for Jordans, Yeezys, Off-White, Supreme, anything heat, hype for your feet, they can hook you up. Soulmates206.com is the website. Follow them on social media at Soulmates206. I'm sorry, I messed up their websites. It's SMS206.shop. And their all social media is Soulmates206. So check them out. Follow them on YouTube. They've got some videos coming out and, entertaining sneaker stuff. And then don't forget to subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and of course, Spotify. So thank you for that. So today we are going to talk to my buddy, Kevin. Kevin, in my phone, you are Kevin the Botter.
Well, I am Kevin the Harris, or the Kevin Harris, or the Sneaker King. I've been called a bunch of different things.
The Sneaker King. I should probably change it because I don't want to wrap up your whole identity as the Botter.
Yeah, I have a little bit more to my identity than botting. And as we were talking about earlier, it definitely is changing currently. Tough times. So
right. Well, we'll definitely get into that. So the reason Kevin is on is because, as the listeners know, I love sneakers. There is a segment of my audience that doesn't, but they're older. They listen to the podcast on a Zune.
Zune.
Do you remember what a Zune is?
Microsoft Zune?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there is listeners
Did
that
not know.
I don't know what I don't know. Well, bless them.
Shout out for supporting my guy.
That's right. But I love sneakers, and I can talk about sneakers for a very long time. And how cool is it to talk to someone who has a ton of sneakers, but also has this super good, is very proficient at acquiring sneakers.
Wow. I'm humbled. That really means a lot. I mean, as we were talking about, I'm proud of the collection I've accumulated. I've had a lot of good opportunities and met the right people along the way. But I feel like a lot of it has to do with karmatic behavior. I try to give to people and hopefully get back something and,
Throw some good out, get some back.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, I've been doing this, like the botting part of this industry for the last 4.5 years. The reason I got into it is, I had always been like a little sneakerhead and always followed the trends and stuff. But for a long time, I had battled addiction and I was on opiates for 15 years of my life. I struggled with severe addiction, hurting everyone around me.
From an injury or for?
Yeah. I have a really bad back still to this day. That's never going to change. But I fell out of a tree when I was a little kid. My neighbor, who turned out to be a serial killer, chased me up a tree. And
Wait,
yeah.
So we've gone from sneakers to opioids to serial killer.
Yeah.
So what did he have a chainsaw or a hacksaw chasing you up this tree?
No, we were playing tag.
So you were playing tag with the serial killer.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you didn't know he was one.
No, we were much younger. I was about 7 years old, actually. I was 7 when this happened. He was probably 5, 6 years older than me, but he was like in the neighborhood, one of the kids who was around.
Is this here in the Seattle area?
No. Wisconsin, where they breed them.
Man, was it Dahmer?
Fortunately not. But, no, it was, his name is Joe Clark. Baraboo, Wisconsin. He's known as like the Baraboo Bone Breaker. Weird cat.
The Baraboo Bone Breaker?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was his MO?
Yeah, he's sick. But his thing was younger guys. He liked to
chase them up
feel their
trees.
bones break. He liked the feeling of bones breaking, and
that is nuts.
yeah, there was a few run-ins I had. I always was like really uncomfortable around him. I was terrified of him. Like anytime he was in my vicinity, I would get scared scared to death. Like but yeah, the time he chased me up a tree, I fell out, broke both my arms, and ended up like reversing the curvature of my spine. And so it's been messed up ever since then. So
was he older than you? Same age?
Yeah. He was I think 5 to 6 years older than me.
So he was like a teen chasing a little kid.
Yeah.
What was he chasing you for?
We were playing tag, but I was deathly scared of him. Like I had always been scared of him. He was like a brawny country boy, big kid. And I'm just this little short fat kid running away from him. And I climb up the tree, scurrying up as fast as I can.
So you probably weren't going to be a victim.
Yeah, roasted. Yeah. No, I wasn't. I turns out maybe not. But yeah.
You know what? I think you should modify this story. It's like, yes.
I was a sexy. I was hot.
Yeah, for an 8-year-old.
No, the funny thing is later on down the road, the police end up telling my mom that there was a hit list. There was he had like 3 pages on his hit list. It was get to now or get to know, but he had awful grammar.
Yeah.
The leg thing, and there was one other thing. So
that is nuts.
Yeah, fortunately, it never happened.
I mean, encountering a future serial killer and you walk away with broken arms, curvature in your spine, and an opioid addiction. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, true. Wasn't really a win-win, I guess. That's for sure. I mean, maybe that's the trauma that pushed me to the places I went in life. But yeah, it ended up being a weird childhood. But
so did they give you these powerful pain pills from young age, from being little?
No. To be honest, it was once I moved here to Washington State, just kind of got mixed in with a couple people, and it was like, oh, here, take this, your back's hurting. Right. And it was like, I was not really responsibly because it wasn't provided by a doctor.
Yeah.
But it was like, I knew these were addicting because I was a Packers fan and Brett Favre had gotten hooked on Vicodin.
Yeah.
And I knew they were addicting. I knew they were dangerous, but still I was like, I'm going to be responsible with these.
I mean, the idea of not having pain, if you are in constant pain, I'm assuming is a very strong call.
Yeah. And we were discussing this the other night, my fiance and I, Kelly, and it's, it is excruciating a lot of the time just to like even sit or lay in bed. But I've grown to get used to it, especially the past few years with sobriety. Like, I don't ever want to go back to that ugly place because I was a demon when that stuff was going on. I was hurting everyone around me. And that's like, I enjoy like being around people and not people being like sketched out of me. And,
Right.
I don't want
people at ease.
Yeah.
Versus.
Yeah. And the situation we see like all around us right now with homelessness, and a lot of people are battling addiction, and I see that, and it's like I know where I could end up. I either end up out there living in the rain and crappy weather and nasty tents.
I mean, having that self-awareness, but then also having it, but then avoiding it, working on not getting to that place. That's a lot of hard work. And
yeah, that's funny. The whole story with that, I mean, that's how I met my fiance. As part of the AA program, Alcoholics Anonymous, we met. I was breaking the rules, the traditions of AA, and I hit on the girl, which we weren't supposed to do. You're not supposed to talk to the girls, but both of us are grown, and we knew that we had an interest in each other.
Right.
Or at least I knew I liked her, know. But here we are, 4.5. Yeah, right. Human nature, especially because I'd finally seen a pretty girl in an AA meeting, and I was like, "That's the one. I like her." And a Denny's dinner later, and a movie, and here we are today.
And how long? 4 years? You said 4.5 years.
Yeah, well, we'll be 5 years in October this year.
Oh well, congratulations!
Thank
for that.
Thank you.
And
We're taking
so,
it slow.
fiance, is there a date?
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be October 14th of 2020, but
stupid Corona.
Yeah, we even had family fly out, and then we were stuck entertaining them in Corona, and there's nothing to do. So,
Right.
But fortunately, we know we're together for life, so we don't.
Do you need an officiant for your wedding?
It's
Because
funny.
I'm ordained.
Well, yeah, and the funny thing is we have our brother-in-law Simon, or my brother-in-law Simon, he got ordained for our wedding.
For your wedding.
And then everything just, the ball keeps rolling. Hopefully someday Simon will be able to wed us. We love Simon, and yeah, shout out Simon.
We have, my wife and I go to Mazatlan every year, minus the Corona year, sometimes twice a year. And we have really good friends down there. Our friend Bonnie has dated her boyfriend for a few years now. And we were talking to them, and we were saying, "Hey, do you have a date?" It's like, why don't you just get married? But they were like, "No, we don't need to get married, and we're fine just the way we are." And I said, "Well, if you ever do decide, let me officiate." Just sort of as a joke. But then I did say I am ordained, because if you pay $40 to the Universal Church, they will send you a certificate, which I did.
That's awesome.
So then a few days ago, last week, they sent me a message and said, "We have a date, May 27th, 2023. Come down and you can officiate."
Yes. All your hard work and efforts are paying off.
I was, holy crap. Like, what am I going to do? It's like, do I play it straight? Do I do something goofy? Do I do the Princess Bride, with the funny voice?
Yes.
I mean, I think I have to ask them what they want first.
Dude.
I should probably do that. Well, anyway.
It makes me think of that.
If I hear anyone say I'm getting married, I say, I will offer up my services to officiate your wedding. Well, no, so congratulations. That's awesome. And I know that we were talking a little bit about traveling, and is there honeymoon plans? Is there?
So our honeymoon
That's more
plan-
fun than the actual wedding.
Yeah.
Weddings themselves kind of suck.
Right. That's what our whole thing is. Like, we're not getting married at a wedding for us.
Yeah.
We know we love each other. We know we want to be together for life. We know we'd rather be in California or Hawaii than spending money to go to this podunk hotel to get married here.
Right.
we both decided like we don't need anything big and crazy. Kelly spent a ton of money on a dress, which is, it's the day. Like I want her to wear her dress.
Yeah.
I want to see her in a dress. So it doesn't have to be anything spectacular for us. We're simple, sort of simple people, but
Which sneakers are you going to wear?
man, I've discussed this with my buddy who I want to do Travis's, but I feel like that's probably going to be played out at that point. So
Jordan 1 Dior's.
holy balls.
That deserves your most awesomest of days deserve some Dior's.
That's funny. I was telling her it's like the most expensive retail shoe to ever release on the way here. I was like, they're like $7,000 right now. Actually, they're probably more at this point. But I think like if it was, I'd like to wear something like just light, nothing crazy. Those would be nice, but I don't have Dior money. So
Well, see, this is how sneakerheads think. They're like, okay, this is a very special occasion. Am I gonna unds a pair? Am I gonna save for a pair? Am I gonna trade for a pair?
that's funny.
Like
Yeah.
that's how we right now I'm doing a weight loss thing. I'm trying to lose weight.
Okay.
So, but then I've done this 3 times already where I say, okay, if I lose 10 pounds, I will unds one of my shoes, but I never do it.
You can do it.
Ultimately, I say I'm not worth these measly 10 pounds isn't worth me undsing this shoe. Then I just set myself an even loftier goal. Don't reach it. And I'm like, okay, my shoes are safe.
Yep.
Like I'm still fat, but at least my shoes are still DS.
And the funny thing is, the longer you don't wear them, the better the price goes, the more the market climbs.
I mean, ideally.
You're an investor at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I've done some horrible investing lately. I was one of the crazy people who bought the patent ones.
Oh, at the market high?
Jeez
Louise, yeah.
After 2 bottles of wine, I was looking at what they were selling for.
Okay.
It's like $1,200, $1,300.
Oh, geez.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to put a lowball offer.
Yes.
So I put a lowball offer.
And it got accepted.
It got accepted.
What was your low ball?
Man,
Not low enough?
$900.
How much?
$9.
Oh, okay.
So like after it was all said and done, it was just under. It was just about $1,000.
Yeah, it was cheap. Yep.
So then
That's brutal.
So now they're going for like $400.
Yeah, they'll go. And I mean, the good thing about that shoe is they've not released anything similar to that in a long time. Plus, it's an actual like OG high. So I feel like that shoe will eventually see like $1,500.
Get back.
You're just, long-term investment.
Yeah, that's
just,
what Paris at Soulmate said. He said it might take a year or two, but probably more than a year.
Yeah, probably
it might take you a couple years, but you'll get your money back. But which is, I don't even know why I'm worried about it, because we spoke about during my honeymoon when I bought these Jordan 5s in Madrid. Let's see, how long have I been married? I just want to yell. How long have we been married? We've been married for a bit. I still haven't even tried them on.
Man.
And I've had them for over 10 years.
Wow. They're to that point where you can't wear them anymore either.
Because they'll just disintegrate?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll have you see them. Because they've always been stored in a cool, dark place.
Okay. I feel like that does have to have some sort of like sanctity to it at least. Like I feel like that's the one thing for hope. Like if it is in a cool, dark place, there's no like humidity. When I had that back door at Nike, I'd see like pairs that came from Memphis that were made like within 1 year, and they would come to me just ugly, like off whites that were just yellowed, and they had released like within the last year.
Yeah,
and it's funny how that happens, but there's so much humidity in Memphis, that it makes sense.
Man,
that all
and
those
even
shoes,
in those trucks.
Yeah, in the shipping containers now. I'm intrigued to see all these shoes coming off.
How many they are,
dude? Have you looked down there lately? There's so many containers.
I like that meme where it says, "I'm going before Christmas." Like I'm going Christmas shopping, and someone in a rowboat going out to the shipping container.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like, I'm super curious of how much stuff like that is stranded out there, just waiting.
It's funny. Like I don't know if I told you this. I told Paris. we had got up to Seattle and I was on Instagram, just like I always get these weird feelings when something's releasing and it's like, go there. But I'm just too lazy to go there. And I'm never up in Seattle, so I didn't go there. And turns out the Michigan State Dunks were releasing at Nike today. Those released like a year and a half ago.
Right.
And those are like, a $400 or $500 shoe at this point, $100 retail, so $400 profit. If we both would have went, we would add a little $800 evening. Oh. But unfortunately, I never go. I always have these like gut instinct feelings to go, and I never do it.
Man, so there you go. That should be your 2020. What year are we in? 2022. That should be your 2022 resolution. To act on them.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because I knew like the Patent Breads were going to release there. I knew the Crimsons were going to release a bait the other day. And I was just like, I'm not going. And then sure enough, look on Instagram that morning, there it is. They released and I miss out on a couple $100.
You can monetize these spidey senses that you have.
I should. Well, I have.
Or like a subscription. Subscription to
my brain.
To Kevin's sneaker spidey sense.
Right.
Someone will pay do like a OnlyFans.
There we go. How's that one work?
$5 a month. Like nothing crazy, right? And then just just say, hey, I feel like it's gonna go here.
I feel like there is value to it. If I know there's a ton of people in this area who would like to know, I know I told this kid last week, I was like, hey, I feel like bait's gonna do it today. Sure enough, they did. And I was like, did you go? He's like, no, I didn't. Did you? Of course not. I didn't go.
See?
He's like, you were right, though.
That could have been $5 a month right there.
And $200 profit.
That's right.
If I'm not lazy. Plus that drive, man, the drive is so brutal every single time.
Tacoma, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not gotten any better. At this point, it's like north, it's an hour. And then south, it's an hour and a half every single time, regardless of the time of day, it seems.
Yeah.
I did during COVID, I did make that trip. I was telling her the last time we drove up, it was like first COVID, prime time, no one on the roads. It was the best trip of my life. I literally did not see one car from Tacoma to Seattle. It was so awesome. I felt like I Am Legend, Will Smith, just flying down the freeway going 100, no one around.
No one there.
It was amazing.
And then now it's all back. Probably worse than before.
I think that was to pick up the Travis Air Max 270 too. That was the trip. Yeah.
See, I don't even try to get something retail. I don't try at all. I don't try any raffles. I mean, there was I was part of a cook group that was doing slots, but I never got them. They were doing free slots, and I just never got anything. So I just completely gave up.
Slots are so tough at this point, even now too, with the recent changes.
Yeah.
Now that Foot Locker is no more they're doing raffles.
Yeah.
And raffles are just bad news.
Right.
If you see a store doing a raffle, you can just basically take the ticket you entered with, throw it away in the can.
And then they're doing raffles, but they're also doing just different specific locations are doing them.
Yeah, it's messy. It's so messy.
Do you follow any of the YouTube sneaker channels?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you follow? Well, for Cam's Kicks, he's kind of a big one. He's doing. He's being sponsored now by a cook group.
Is he? Oh, I saw that.
I forgot what it's called.
Something sauce.
Right.
A-Team Chefs. That's who he's sponsored by. A-Team Chefs on Twitter.
It's $60 a month, but he was pretty much saying they're slots.
Yeah, that's a scammy business,
but
man.
$60 a month
for slots that never hit.
That won't hit.
It's all taking advantage, and that's why I think that whole part of the business is super ugly.
Well, it's people who know right. Mm-hmm. And they hear about botting, and then they're like, "For sure, I'm going to
hit 100 pairs
because everyone thinks that botters hit on everything."
Yeah,
but that's, I wish that was the case.
I wish, yeah. Trust me, and the cost to hit that many pairs right now, I'm not even joking you, is minimum $1,000 a month. I think if you're like a really intelligent kid, you could probably get it for like $400 to $500, maybe, just by the amount of proxies you buy. Right. But
so for our audience out there who still listens on Zune, what is a bot? What is a proxy?
So a bot is automation software, which automation software, basically what you do is you'll plug in a link to like a select site. We'll say Nike, but I'm going to caveat that Nike is especially hard to bot.
Right.
So, but what you do is you take your info that you have, like I know this sneaker's releasing on Nike, so I put this link in and I put in my credit card information, plug it in, I start right before the release, and ideally it'll just automatically try to purchase it.
Right.
So recently, the one benefit to the botter is restocks on like Foot Locker and Champs and those kinds of sites, and they're restocking like ones and Yeezys or whatever. And what you do is you just put in the product SKU, you start your task, which is basically your link running the SKU, and it'll basically try to purchase that pair as fast as possible.
So it enters in all your information lightning fast and does the checkout.
Yep.
And then hopefully the order
does the
goes through.
Yeah, and then hopefully they don't cancel. I know like last week I was telling you it's gotten really competitive, one, and then two, really expensive recently, and then three, profit margins are a little smaller than they've been over the last 2 years that a lot of people have gotten used to.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I hit a really good shoe, the Panda Dunks. I hit 20 pairs of them.
That's a funny shoe to me.
And they're so simple and whack.
The simplest of shoe
It's
that
whack.
sells for $375, $400
Easy
depending
money.
on the size.
Yeah. And that would have been a great profit morning. Like, you know, basically 300 profit a pair, 20 pairs, $6,000 morning. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but every single order ended up getting canceled. And there's no rhyme or reason at this point why they cancel.
Yeah.
It's just bad luck sometimes.
I mean,
and really, I think as an older guy, I'm almost 40 years old. I've spent countless hours, hundreds, thousands of hours at this point, like trying to figure out this whole industry.
Magic.
And I feel like it's getting harder and harder as the days go by.
I mean, I'm sure these websites are adapting and changing.
Oh, for sure.
And they're trying to get ahead of it, but
the CAPTCHAs and everybody knows what the CAPTCHA is.
So not only do you need the special software that will let you create this task so that it can monitor the site and do the auto checkout, you also need to hide where you are via proxies. And there are many different proxies, but they are definitely not created equal.
No, they're not.
And then there's your basic ISP, and then there are, what's the mega one?
The residentials.
So the residentials are the basic ones.
Yeah.
And then the ISPs are the more robust.
They're the Rolls Royce, and the resis are like the Ford Eclipse.
They do a better job of hiding where you are.
Right. Yeah.
So that these websites don't catch you, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
So you're paying, I mean, I was paying like $15 a gig?
Yeah, it's so expensive.
$15 a gig. But if you actually try to get a shoe, you could use a few gigs depending on how many tasks you set up, depending on how many sneakers you want, and if you want a certain size or not. So what is the, let's say for a release,
okay,
how much are you spending? What are your costs for a release?
Man, it's funny that Panda Dunk restock. We'll just go off of that. That's just something random that just popped up last Thursday morning. You know, I was up early. I saw that it looked like they were going to restock. And resis right now, it's wise to run them because you can run bulk of the tasks. So I can run, thousands of my credit card over, ISPs. I only have like 200 of them because they're so expensive.
Yeah.
But on that drop day, I ended up burning through about 40 gigs.
Holy cow.
I burned through about 40 gigs and I was gutted, obviously, because that's a hefty loss.
So it is expensive.
That's a big loss.
Yeah.
And
I feel that people look at botters the same way that they look at anyone who is in shape. So, for example, like Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine or Chris Hemsworth for Thor.
Right.
People look at them and they're like, oh, easy.
Right.
Steroids. All they did was take steroids. I mean, if it were that easy, like we can pump that person who is making that comment, we could pump them full of the top level, top shelf steroids.
Yeah.
They're never going to look like that.
No,
never
exactly.
ever.
Exactly.
So the parallel here is that the people who say, "Oh, botters are ruining it," like just try it.
Yeah, I think so.
Just try it. Go to a place that sells bots.
You can go to this website called WHOP, WHOP.io. You can rent a bot for a day now, and you can literally spend $5. It's much cheaper than it was. As far as that goes, the like super high end stuff, they're not quite on there, but you've got the likes of like NSB, Velox. These are different bots, by the way. Kodai, all these big name bots.
Right. Which, I mean, Prism.
Right. It's on there.
Is it?
It's on there. And it's working great. So it's killing the easy supply.
But if you were to buy this bot, isn't Prism like a $10,000 bot?
That's interesting. Since the market is just nosedived.
Oh,
because
wow.
now that rentals are a thing. Yeah. I've taken a bath just on bots alone. I've taken a serious bath.
There are so many moving parts to this. It's picking the right bot, the right ISP, the right. Then not only that, but then in your task, you can change the time that things refresh.
Yeah, the delays.
And knowing which site will work best with different delays. So you might start the task at a certain delay, but then
switch it up.
Yeah, switch it up.
Mid-drop.
So like there's so many moving parts. So for all those people who are like, oh, botting, they just get it through botting. It's just a bot. That is just try it. Just try it and then try for something that's not even super highly sought after. Just try it for
a Jordan 5 or something. Just something simple. A Jordan 12. I'm sure if you put the work in, the little bit of money that first release, you're going to learn that it's not as simple. I mean, especially now with the changes they've made, it's so fluid. I've never excuse me. I've never seen it so fluid as it's been recently. Like just so many moving parts, so fast now.
It's and then plus you have to wake up at 5 a.m.
Oh, we have it rough on the West Coast. All the guys on the East Coast that I talk to every day are like, you guys, they complain about 8 a.m. and they complain about 7 a.m. in the Central Time. I'm like, please.
Because it's it goes a lot on Eastern time, so you have to get up super early. Well, I mean, you have to get up before 5. Right, you have to get up at 4 something to make the 5 o'clock to hit the 8 o'clock East.
And then if it's a Yeezy release, the foot sites they'll release their inventory at 4 a.m. our time, so 7 a.m. Eastern. Imagine living in Hawaii. The funny thing is, I've never met a Hawaii botter.
No.
You know why? Because they don't want to get up that early.
Man. They're out surfing. They're out surfing.
They're out living a good life.
That's why.
In the sun.
So, I mean, all of this is because we love sneakers and we try to get them. I mean, you want to actually get them and you've developed this proficiency to use this technology.
Yeah.
I tried. I crashed and burned big time. So I don't even look at what's releasing. I don't enter any raffle. I just figure if I see a shoe that I really like, I just have accepted the fact that I'm going to have to pay resale value for it. And I'm okay with that because I don't wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm not spending crazy money to try to bot for it. So I'm okay for it. But these are the things that we do because we love these sneakers. And like we were talking before is for the most part, your average sneakerhead, there is something that started it.
Yeah.
Like what was your, like, what pushed you? I mean, what pushed you to saying, hey, I love sneakers. I love the culture. I love following all of this. What was your kickoff?
Like I said, I grew up in a really small town, really, really small town. But my dad, who grew up in the city, he grew up in Chicago, in the Chicago area, Oswego, Illinois.
Oh, I grew up in Aurora.
So, had a ton of friends from Aurora, Illinois. I went to church camp with every year, and cool. Crazy. This is wild. Aurora is a beautiful town, small, cool little city.
Second biggest city in Illinois.
Yeah, and it's an
wife-
awesome city.
My
Wayne's
wife laughs.
World.
Wayne's World. My wife laughs every time I say that. The second biggest city in Illinois.
Yeah, that's so wild. It is too. Cool little town. But yeah. So my dad grew up in the Oswego area, and he was a huge Bulls fan. And he got, obviously during my time, the Bulls were crazy good. And I grew up, and we used to have WGN as one of our 5 channels in our household. So I would never miss like a Cubs or a Chicago Bulls game or a Sox game. I grew up on like the Chicago teams because we couldn't see the Wisconsin teams. But yeah, so I grew up watching the Bulls. I remember like just being infatuated with Jordan, like everything he did. I'd go out onto the little cement driveway we had and dribble the ball and pretend I was Michael Jordan and, stick my tongue out with everything I did, every layup and every missed backboard. I thought I was Michael Jordan when I was a kid. But yeah, so it started with that. And we had this little like sneaker store in our town, and they had like nice shoes, but we couldn't afford it in my whole, household. And I think that's what created the monster that it is today, where I have just an obsession basically and a compulsion to have all these different sneakers that I probably won't be able to wear a quarter of them. And I'm too scared to wear a 3/4 of them.
I haven't even asked, what's the number on your collection?
I've actually dwindled down since COVID. It's not as obsessive as it was, but it was like mid-COVID, it got up to like 150 pairs of just like high end, like the most expensive
not
shoes.
Your general release.
Yeah, it's not the easy to get stuff. I tried to like, if I was gonna be doing it, I would hold on to like the stuff that I really liked, and unfortunately it was all this crap that's super high end and hype. And yeah,
any size 12 in there?
Yeah, there was a couple. I know they ended up in Paris's shop a couple weeks ago. SMS206.shop. Check them out.
I'll have to check.
Yeah, there was a couple off-whites that ended up there, and
every time size 12 comes through, I have to look at it. And then Paris gets mad because he says I can't rummage through all of his 12.
I still owe you a pair of shoes. I'll never like be able to get it out of my mind, but I know I was supposed to try to get you a UNC4, and I've had some serious issues in the past with UPS and FedEx drivers, but
stealing?
Yeah,
Whack.
Just recently in the last week, I lost a pair of the patent breads. So
man, luckily I haven't had that issue. I know the guys who do the route here, and they seem to be pretty cool guys. So I'm fairly similar where my parents were like, no freaking way am I spending more than a few bucks on your shoes. So and you mentioned before, you mentioned having, the whole opioid thing. Did you use sneakers as a way to like for stress relief, for like keeping your mind off of the pain that you're in?
Right.
Is it sort of therapeutic to do all of this?
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
So yeah, tell me, like, so is it, when you do that, if you're focusing so much, like for example, bodying.
Yeah.
There are so many moving parts.
Right.
When you're thinking, how can I do this? What's wrong? How can I make this better? You sort of zone out. So is that what sort of happened where you forget everything else?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like, I notice sometimes I'll just like be sitting at my computer, like working or reading articles or, reading guides on this specific release or site or bot, whatever it is. I notice like more than anything though, it's the community that really like makes it worth it and makes it like what I really enjoy about it. Like I love the guys I get in voice with every release day. It makes it a lot more fun too, just having the community there, whether it makes it a lot easier if you don't hit that release to know, well, at least this guy got a couple, or at least this guy got one, and
live vicariously a bit.
Sometimes it leaves you a little bitter. Like, what the hell did he do that I didn't this time?
That's how I felt every single time.
Well, and I know
It's impossible. I think that it's very difficult to, first, it's very difficult to do like a tutorial because everything is so different from release to release. So really the only thing you can do is just give general guidelines and then have someone figure it out for themselves.
Right. Yeah, I think, that's been the tough thing we've had lately too. Like with my group, we always were thriving on the fact that we were able to teach a lot of new guys. Like, hey, we came into this and now I'm doing this. A lot of the guys that are on my staff, they themselves are people that I taught, but at this point it's like harder and harder. So it's like, I can't really teach the new kids coming in how to ride their bike because the bike has broken pedals and the spokes are falling off. So it's been pretty difficult recently, but yeah, I think, to go back to it, I think a lot of my love for sneakers came from the fact that just watching him play when I was a kid and then not being able to afford it. I remember I'd go work for my uncle and he had this big old yard, like probably about 3 or 4 acres. He lived on this massive farm with a barn and everything, a beautiful place like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I'd go out there and mow his grass and he'd pay me $20. And I remember I'd go home immediately in the East Bay magazine and circle what shoe I was going to buy after the summer was over with my money. And that was my first. So I purchased the Jordan 5 Metallics because they were $60 on sale because no one had wanted them.
Right.
They were the Jordan 5 Black Metallic is what they are. So,
man, yeah, I'm on that same boat, working, not being able to get us. And even when I did get my first job, being 13 or so, and then going to the store fully ready to get, I don't even remember which Jordan it was. It might have been the 6, the 5 or the 6. And then looking at it and saying, okay, if I buy this is going to take 30 to 40% of the money that I made this week. And it's like, you know what? Nope. There's too much sweat, too many splinters to do this. So I just put it back and ended up getting a Charles Barkley.
Yep.
A black one with purple and white.
Still an awesome shoe. The 94 up tempo.
I think
beautiful
that's what they
shoe.
were. Yeah.
Or 96, one of the two. Yep. Awesome shoe.
But that's what I ended, but it was $80. It was $75-$80 compared to the $125 or so that the Jordans were.
Yeah, I remember one time I finessed my mom into buying me a $40 pair of shoes, and I ended up getting these Grant Hill Filas.
I think I had
the one
those
with
too.
The diamond on the side where it's yeah, man.
I grew up in Aurora, and I went to a private school my whole life.
Okay.
And we were lower middle class.
Yeah, so were we.
I mean, we always had. We weren't poor. There was no poverty there, but there isn't a lot of discretionary income to spend on a lot of stuff. And everyone that I went to school with, because it was a private school, they were middle to upper middle class.
Okay.
And everyone that was, all of the guys pretty much had Jordans.
Oh yeah, and for sure.
They wouldn't really tease me about it, but occasionally I would get, laughed at that I was wearing, that I didn't have Airs, that they were just Nike Forces with no air on them.
I remember this.
And then I remember I'm telling my mom, they don't say air on them.
It's not good enough.
It's my mom she had zero understanding of what that means.
What are you talking about?
It needs to say air right there.
Right.
And then of course she would say, just write it on there. She's like, I can't do that.
Well, Virgil ended up doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
She was way more innovative.
But what I'm curious about, and if I could do a documentary of my middle school life.
Oh wow.
I'm super curious of all of those kids who got every Jordan release. Do they care about sneakers now?
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I know a lot of the kids. I'm still friends with a couple on Instagram. One of them.
Yeah.
And he grew up like us. But somehow, I think his grandparents may have had money. maybe that's how he got his, but I know he still has the bug. And
Okay.
I think he also is recently into sobriety, like the past 3 years. He's a good guy that I grew up with, rode the bus with him. And he has a few things going on. I see him he's started a little nice collection. So he's one of the few, but
That
I
have
remember
kept it.
I remember vividly our thing on top of the airs is if you had like the starter jacket or not. It was
Right.
like the kids with the starter jacket on this team, the broke boys on this team. I was always over on that, not the starter jacket side and
See,
not
I
the
had a
Nike
starter
Air
jacket,
side.
but I think my buddy gave me a starter jacket.
Yeah. We ended up getting them. I got one secondhand when I was in like middle school. I ended up getting
Yeah.
a Michigan State one.
I looked on
all
eBay not that
torn.
long ago to see if they were still.
Oh, there's big now.
Actually, you know what's so funny? I don't even think I had a Bull starter jacket. I think I had a Cowboy starter jacket, but it was a gang thing because of the 5-point
of
star. and all.
course.
Like I don't think you could.
Oh, you were a GD back then, huh?
Well, no,
Probably,
5.
no?
No,
Six?
there was a Latin gang.
Yeah, Latin
The Kings.
Yeah. It's
I
such
think-
Midwest
I
crap.
think that's why they had to do it because we couldn't wear black and red in
right.
our
We couldn't
neighborhood.
wear it in Baraboo either.
Yeah.
A town of 10,000 people. All the bangers in the small town.
Yeah, the black and red were vice lords, and they were
Yeah,
on the west side of the
yes.
city, so we couldn't wear black and red.
Oh,
but I
this
think
is
I
funny.
did have the Cowboys. But I had one friend. His name was Kevin.
Really?
And I think he was worse off than me. Like
Okay.
he was. I think he lived with his grandma.
Okay.
And I remember we were kind of buddies just because we were both had the camaraderie of not having money like the other
Yeah.
kids. And one day he comes in and he's wearing the 6s. And I'm like, where did you get
what?
those? He said, I bought them used. And I remember thinking, you bought used shoes? It's like, who does that? But then he bought them. And then I said, well, how did you get them? And he caddied a couple times at the little Aurora golf club.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I just caddied enough to buy these used, and I'm like, that's it.
awesome.
I'm like, that is so cool. And that's, I mean, the infrared 6s. Those are my favorite.
Oh,
ones.
I love that shoe.
That is my absolute favorite
They're so
Jordan
sick.
of all time. And I think it became because of that, because I couldn't get them, and he got them
that makes sense.
because he caddied.
Yeah, that
and-
makes sense.
And man, it's just there's just a whole lot of that.
I think that's my love for the bread is that Utah Jazz game, the bread 11.
Yeah.
I think that's why that game permanently, because it was just so pivotal in my lifetime.
Right.
I it's funny how such small moments, while it was huge for Chicago and Bulls fans, but yeah, that game he played lights out, and I just remember that shoe has always been the one for me, and it's such a cool looking shoe in the first place. But
Yeah. They're my beater sneakers right now.
are they? I don't
Yeah.
even own a pair. I sold my pair.
I did the dumbest thing. I had 2 brand new ones, and then I started to use one, and then I don't know why I used the other one once.
Oof.
So it's like, why did I do that?
You just
So
got to wear it in.
It was I don't know. I don't know why I did that, but I put that one back, and then now they're all beat. They're starting to come undone.
Oh no.
But I'll get another pair.
They're so expensive though. Everything. I mean, now the retros are finally getting the respect after The Last Dance.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of kids are finally gonna realize how good MJ was now that
Man.
they're seeing the wind down of Bron's career,
Ugh.
which has been ugly, by the way. If you're a Lakers fan.
I have not seen a basketball game probably since Kobe retired.
Ooh, yeah.
I just have no interest in basketball. Watching it, none. I don't know. I know LeBron is a Laker, but just because I occasionally watch SportsCenter.
Yeah.
But I don't know anyone from any other team.
Really?
Just don't keep up with it at all. I don't know who's good. but I stopped watching basketball the first time after Jordan retired the second time.
Oh, okay.
But then I started getting into Kobe, so I started watching him. But then
that
when
team
he
was
retired,
so fun.
then it's like, you know what, that's it. And then it just sucks. It's like there you get the officials play too big of a part in the game.
It's so impactful.
I don't like it.
I'm a Bucks fan. Being from Wisconsin, Giannis is so fun to watch. He's so talented. He's 7 foot and plays like a point guard, like BG Armstrong back in the day.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the NBA is not what it used to be, plain and simple. It's all flopping. And I think I used to love how hard they would play back in the day.
Man.
Like Bill Laimbeer and Isaiah Thomas against the Bulls and how that rivalry was created. It was so fun to watch.
We sound like a bunch of old dudes now.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. That's so funny. Yelling at the clouds. What are we doing, man? We sound like the old guys yelling at the
old heads.
It was so much better.
But it's true.
It is.
I mean,
I'm more of a college basketball guy anyway. That one time a year, if my team makes it, I love watching the March Madness, the round of 64. That's so much fun. I think it's just, but that's about to be different now too because of the likeness or name, image, and likeness, and the NIL rule or whatever. I think that's going to change how college basketball is done.
Man, this is why I do not like team sports. I like mano a mano.
I do too.
I love UFC. I love boxing. Then I'm into F1.
I like Lewis Hamilton. I don't know
hate
much.
him,
I don't know
but
much
I like
about
racing.
it, but I like watching that guy. He's
Yes, it
talented.
is a team sport, but when it's a team sport in the same sense that boxing is a team sport.
Right.
So you train, you work with your team, but then when it comes out to actually going and doing your job, it's just you, and that's why I like it. I've been into it now for 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
And you mentioned Hawaii people waking up early.
Yeah.
I wake up at 4 a.m. on the weekends during F1 season because these races are in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, right. Or Monaco or wherever they are.
Yeah.
That's early.
The only break I get is during the Canadian Grand Prix, the Mexican Grand Prix, the US Grand Prix, Brazil, and they didn't have any races in Asia last year, or when they have them in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Or in China.
Right.
Then they're late at night.
Yeah.
But man, it's just awesome. My wife got me tickets to the US Grand Prix in 2019. So I got to go.
Really? Where was that at?
In Austin.
Oh, nice. Is that where it is every year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, lately.
Yeah.
They've had races in Vegas, in Long Beach.
Austin's such a rich city.
Well, I did something dumb. I flew into Houston, stayed with the buddy, woke up early, drove to Austin.
That's a far
watched
drive.
the race,
8
and
hours?
then came back.
4 hours?
It was like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's
like,
a far
why did
drive.
I do this?
You're like, it's short commute.
Why the heck did I do this? I should have just stayed. My buddy is cool and all, but it's like it wasn't 8 hours driving.
Right? That's funny. I ate that 4 hours is a lot. I have an hour drive home, and I just decided I'd stay up here tonight.
Man.
Because I didn't want to drive home after this. I'm staying a few blocks away at a hotel.
I probably should have done that.
Yeah.
What I ended up doing was driving to a Whataburger.
Oh, yum.
I ordered 3 cheeseburgers.
Food coma.
And 2 or 3 orders of chicken strips.
Oh.
A drink, a bunch of fries,
Yo.
and like a shake or something. And I was my plan was to just eat all the way home.
No.
To just to keep on moving, just so that I had something to do. But it was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
You should check out the show called Drive to Survive on Netflix.
I've heard about it.
It's good. That's what got me into it.
We'll definitely watch it because we always struggle to find stuff to watch.
There's 3 seasons.
Awesome. I'm in.
Season 1.
Because it actually follows the F1 teams, right?
They pick they pick two teams that give them a lot of access.
Right.
And man, it's just, and then to think that these dudes are going 180 miles an hour.
Right.
They're going 100 miles an hour doing left and right turns. And then there's, you have to be in the track. You have to have respect track limits. And, and then even just how it's set up, where on Friday and Saturday, it's a practice. Then the last thing on Saturday is a qualifying, which is super exciting. And then the race on Sunday. So it's a 3-day, event.
You know, the pit stops that those teams do it's bananas. Show those NASCAR kids what the hell's that.
Man,
that's so wild.
It's
literally
Red Bull has the record. They did one, I believe, in 1.4 seconds.
That's so wild.
That's
man.
changing 4 tires.
Changing 4 tires and lifting it in the air. And dropping it. That's so wild.
1.4 seconds.
Imagine.
Man, so that's like another thing.
Who's your favorite UFC fighter?
You know what? It's easy. Thug Rose.
I love Thug Rose, a little Wisconsin girl right there. Man, she's my favorite. She's
a Lithuanian killer.
She is so amazing. She's so fun to watch. Man, I love her. Pat Barry too. Such a lovable duo, man. Yeah, such a cool duo.
You would never think that this fighter could murder. Like she could murder me.
She beat up Wei Lee pretty bad.
I did not expect that.
No, either did I.
All.
But her little I am a champion. I am a champion.
Makes you cry.
I am the best. I literally cried. I literally cried watching that.
She did a collab with RVCA, that brand.
Oh, yeah. Just like a clothing brand, right?
It's like, it looks like a Supreme shirt because it's literally just a face. Man, those shirts sold out so fast. I should try to find it on StockX. I should get it because I want it.
Are they on StockX?
I don't know.
Man,
maybe.
Who's your favorite guy fighter?
Let's see.
He's a big TJ Dillashaw guy. Colby Covington.
Colby.
No, I like Usman a lot.
That's probably a good fighter.
I'll say. He's fun. He's fun to watch. He's talented. He's strong.
I want to look like him.
Habib's great too. Yeah, Habib is. I just wish he fought more.
Yeah, all of his are good.
Yeah.
What I like about these guys is that their fights are rewatchable.
Yeah.
Like you said Mayweather earlier.
Right.
Yes, he's really good. Right. But his fights aren't rewatchable.
So boring because it's all defense. He's such a good fighter that everything's so defense.
They're good
time.
During the event and fine, I appreciate it. But it's like, ask me how many times I've seen Pacquiao versus Eric Morales. Like they fought 3 times. I've seen all 3 fights at least a dozen times. And it's like, those are good ones to watch to see Pacquiao's progression. Because he lost the first one. Morales beat the crap out of him.
Right.
But then that third fight, Morales just quit. Manny knocked him down with a straight left, I believe. Man. Morales went down and then just looked at his coach and then just gave a head nod.
That was prime Pacquiao time too.
Man,
he was so fun to watch. He was so fast, like throwing 500, 600
his
punches.
Prime lasted 15 years.
Yeah, he's so fun to watch.
He's just so good.
Him and Freddie Roach were a deadly, deadly duo.
Man,
I love Freddie too. He's so awesome.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Francis is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you see this last fight?
I didn't, man. What?
It was
something was happening Saturday night where I had to Packers.
Oh.
I took the heartache. That was brutal. Very brutal. Painful.
Last second, right?
Oh, it was awful.
I get Kansas City and San Francisco mixed up.
Wow. That Sunday football was the best games I've ever watched. Ever for playoff football. Just back and forth, back and forth.
I think they said that this was the first time that all 4 were won on the last drive.
That Bills and KC game?
Yeah.
Wow, that was nuts. That's like rewatchable. The last quarter, at least.
Yeah. I like football more the last couple years.
Right. Football's an entertaining sport, but I do prefer UFC. I'm obsessed with Green Bay, but Green Bay is really the only team that I get excited for. But I much prefer UFC when it's not the Packers.
Do you do any collecting of cards, like sports
I
cards?
used to when I was a kid. I was heavy into it. Like I know a lot about cards just from. That was one of the things I was able to afford when I was a kid. Is like
Cards.
I have $1, $2. I'm gonna go to Walmart, and I had a really good collection just because I was smart with how I did it. That was
Yeah.
like my first it was memorabilia and it was sports cards.
I like cards. I have
do too.
3 packs of the Rocky cards.
Oh,
up there.
nice. Oh yeah, I see him up there.
I saw on eBay the other day a whole collection of garbage pail kids.
Oh
I wonder.
man, those have got to be worth some money at this point.
I had a whole bunch.
Because everybody would take them, they'd peel them and stick them to their dresser or
Yeah.
something. I feel like not many people probably have the cards.
I had a bunch of garbage pail kids. I had the Batman Series 1 and Series 2 cards.
That's awesome.
And then I had a whole bunch of basketball cards too.
Yeah, I was
wonder
more
what
like
happened to
sports.
them.
I had a lot of baseball and football. I was a big Marshall Falk fan when I was a kid. And then Thurman Thomas, both running backs in the NFL. And they were my guys. I don't know.
Well, UFC has cards now, and they're going
Dude.
for crazy money.
Yeah. I know some of the boxes Dana White. I was watching his Instagram the other day. He was
Yeah.
selling, or he said one of them was selling for like $15K just for a box.
It's
And it's like
That's
it's
nuts.
like the pieces of the ring or pieces of someone's tooth. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
some
on that one.
DNA.
Yeah, right. Human DNA on this
It's a
one.
blood-soaked card.
Right, or John Jones failed steroid card, or TJ Dillashaw's
excited to see him fight again.
No,
Imagine him and Francis.
I think Francis would probably win just
Man, I
because
don't
he's
know.
so mean.
Man,
That'd be a
I
good fight
think-
to watch.
I think Francis would try to do the same thing to try to take John down.
John's really talented though,
But-
everywhere.
But John is better than Cyril.
I wonder how old he is at this time.
He's 30. He's in his mid-30s.
Yeah, so he's still got. I mean, GSP was great all the way till 30 something. Well, kind of fell off. The
Yeah.
Hendricks fight was brutal.
I haven't seen that one. I should go back.
You
He
haven't?
lost.
Oh, he
GSP
won. He won, but he lost.
He took a beating.
100%. The refs were really, or not the refs. It went to the cards, but he was battered. It was ugly. It was the worst. And everybody, because my whole family is big nuts on the UFC. We used to watch every fight, and it was my sister's wedding day. So we're like, we gotta get home, watch that fight the moment. So everybody's there. We have friends from all over the country who flew in, and we're all watching it. And everybody's like, wow, GSP just lost the belt tonight. And it was at that time we're in the UFC where it's like, well, you got to finish the champ to beat
Right.
the champ, which isn't, that was never like a thing, but it was a thing.
It's a
But-
overlap from boxing.
Yeah, Hendricks, he finished the champ without finishing him. Like his,
Have you been to a UFC fight?
I haven't yet. I've always wanted to.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
want to go.
big UFC fan for probably like 15 years, I'd
Oh
say.
wow! No,
Yeah.
it's time to go.
Long time. I mean,
Plan the trip.
yeah,
around
right.
a UFC
That'd be
fight.
awesome, because we're down there. I imagine there's got to be like some fight night or something.
Kelly might appreciate that more than a sneaker trip.
She enjoyed the NBA game. So we went to Portland a few months ago, just for Portland.
Yeah.
We had met a guy when we were in LA who worked at a sneaker shop, and he was like in this hip hop dance show, and we went down there. And
Oh.
she enjoyed her first NBA game. We went and saw the Bulls and the Blazers just on a
there you
whim.
go.
It was awesome.
Man,
Whoop.
watching when you watch basketball, it's even more impressive of how big these dudes are.
It was her first game. She loved it. It was
It is fun to. I would go to see a basketball game. I'm just not gonna watch one on TV.
Yeah, I'm more of an in person.
Right. Even same thing with baseball. I wouldn't watch a baseball game on TV, but it's fun going.
Yeah.
Going to
sure.
to Safeco.
I feel like it's different when it comes to the playoffs and stuff for me. Like, I'm okay missing like regular season stuff, but like for me, I think for like especially football, I'll try to watch it. But if it's my team, I won't miss it like playoff wise. But I think like for me, the last time I saw a Brewers game was when they were in I think it was the NLDS against the Dodgers a few years ago. But
Yeah, I don't even.
yeah.
The last game, the baseball game I saw was probably the White Sox because I was there.
Man, I
I
used to go
saw
to a
it.
lot of those games when I was a kid down in Chicago and in Milwaukee. That was another cheap thing I could do when I was a kid and afford to do because it was like $4
Yeah.
to go to the bleachers.
Again, the love for Jordan, the love for Jordans. When I was 12 or 13, I was a paper boy.
Oh, really?
I had a paper route.
Nice.
And it had to have been spring. No, wait, when does the season start? In October?
For baseball, yeah.
No, for basketball.
Oh, basketball, yeah. October,
Like
November.
October.
Yeah.
So it was around that time.
Okay.
And the newspaper, the Beacon Tribune, the Beacon, it's just called the Beacon. They had a promotion where for paper boys, if you signed
big.
6 new accounts, you got 1 ticket.
Wow.
And it wasn't even a seat; it was standing room only to the
United
Bulls
Center.
at the Chicago Stadium.
Before the
Yeah, this was before. So I was 12
big.
or 13. I was little.
Okay, yeah.
And I wanted to go. So I hustled and got 12 new signups. So I got 2 tickets and the pastor's kid.
Yeah.
Because I knew my parents were were going to take me. So the pastor's kid, who was probably 21 at the time, I said, "Hey, do you want to go see the Bulls?" And I mean, the 21-year-old wasn't going to say no.
Right.
So he took me to go see the game, and they played against the New Jersey Nets before Drazen Petrovic died.
Yeah.
So I got to see Jordan, and I luckily I got to see Jordan play a couple times at the at the Chicago Stadium, and then once in the United Center.
That's awesome.
So it's like, man, that's even more ingrained now that I have this.
That's huge. That's a cool memory.
Jordan had a driving range in Naperville.
Yeah.
That I would go to occasionally. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what.
He had a golf course in that area too, right? He had
I don't know if it was a full blown golf course.
Might have been a 9-hole near Aurora or something, maybe. Near Fox
So
Valley.
you know what? That makes sense that you have a driving range and an executive course.
Yeah.
So probably yeah.
I think so.
But I would just go to the driving range, and that was super cool. But again, just why I love these stupid shoes.
So awesome.
Man, I think that getting paying attention to this stuff definitely keeps me occupied and probably out of other trouble.
I agree. I agree for sure. It definitely keeps me out of trouble. That's for sure.
Do you does Kelly get to benefit from your sneakerness?
Kelly definitely benefits.
Yeah. What's the best sneaker she has right now?
I think, I don't know as far as her favorite, but I think her, the most expensive is probably her Serena Blazers, off-white Blazers. And she's had those for a while, but
that's fancy.
She's got some good stuff. I mean, she has off-white Chucks, and she has some crazy Nike SB stuff that most people don't have. Because even the funny thing about SB, if you have a female size SB, usually the prices are pretty steep because it's a much harder size to get in women's sizing. But she's benefited pretty nicely. She has, mochas and.
Has she asked for anything?
No, she's never really asked for anything. I mean, the one thing, when we were on vacation, we saw a pair of, we wanted to get her a nice pair of shoes when we were on vacation. And I think it was between the Ama 3s, but they didn't have those in her size, the Ama Menir 3s.
I'm trying to picture what
They're
the 3s
white
look
ones
like.
and.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And then the Trav 6s. And we chose the Travis 6s. So it was more about that moment, on vacation, you want something to make a memory with. And I've always been the one to bring something home on vacation. And we both definitely brought home a lot of stuff that trip. But
nice.
We had actually, one of the cool things, we went to this store called Juice Store USA. And it's in the rough part of LA, but it's in the, what is it called? The textile district of LA. Mm-hmm. And it's where Bodega and a bunch of those kind of stores are. So we ended up talking to the kids who work there, and they ended up being really nice. And, they had a little surprises hidden in the back, and they hooked both of us up with some nice rare stuff. And Kelly got hooked up with a pair of clot. What are they called? Solar Reds.
Okay.
Which, they're not crazy market wise right now, but they're like a super nice quality shoe, and they were like impossible to get. There was only like 1,000 pairs made, and they not gifted her one, but hooked her up with one, and yeah.
Man.
So that was the first trip where she came home with more shoes than I did.
I saw an episode of Complex Sneaker Shopping.
Okay.
And they were at Bodega.
Yeah.
With what's his name? The owner of the Patriots.
Kraft. Yeah.
And they had a Patriots. Was it an Air Force One?
Probably.
Man, I want that one.
He's got a crazy collection.
He does.
Low key, that old man has a gnarly collection of shoes.
And he's the
rings.
He's the wears them with suits kind of guy.
Yeah.
And it works. He gets away with it.
Man, he's getting away with whatever he wants to anyways. Right? He is
massages and
filthy
everything.
Rich. Right? That dude, I mean, he shout out to that guy, because I know he's actually really good people too, to a lot of apparently a lot of the younger people in the organization. I heard a couple stories where he helped kids with cancer and stuff, like employees and stuff. So
well,
seems like
good.
a down to earth dude.
Well, if you ever see those Patriots.
Oh, I got you for sure. Size 12?
Size 12.
Air Force Ones? Size 11 and a half, maybe.
Are they? No, they don't.
I don't know.
The 12s work. I need to show you the ones that my buddy's wife painted for me.
Oh,
Air Force Ones.
I've been telling Kelly she needs to get into that. She has the most amazing artist touch. She's a fantastic portrait artist. She is crazy, but she can make money. I know, but she's just scared. I think she doesn't. We need to boost her confidence.
I mean, just make a couple, post them. People will come.
Right. She would make tons of money.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Warren Lotus Voorhees dunks.
I love those, man. I hit so many of those. I hit quite a few of them.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Do you have? Oh, you didn't have any.
I not anymore. No.
Oh.
That was one of my biggest hits ever, because those were selling for so much. And then those in the CPFM dunks.
Right.
The ones with the crystals all over them.
Yeah.
I hit, I think 10 pairs of those, and those are $3,000 a piece.
Yeah.
But they're expensive.
Even these Voorhees are still going for a few $1,000.
They look so
12.
cool.
Well, first of all, I've never seen a size 12. The shop has a size 9 and a size 10, I believe. Never seen a 12, but I had my buddy's wife paint an Air Force one. I'll show it to you.
Nice. Yeah, I want to see that.
She painted it, and it looks pretty good. It looks really good. It's I'm still figuring out when I'm gonna wear it. And then she said that if I wear it and the paint comes off, that she'll just touch it up.
Nice.
But it looks super cool. And so that combined with the Freddy versus Jason that I have, and then I have the Freddy Air Max 95s.
Oh, those are awesome.
So I have my little horror sneaker collection coming up.
I love that shoe. Those are a low key, really slept on shoe, and I feel like those are going to be worth a lot of money someday.
Well,
when the Air Max 95, still,
yeah.
I mean, look at Paris dunks or Freddy Krueger dunks.
Man.
People wore them, and they're worth tons of money.
They're a $20,000 ask for
the
them.
crazy thing about the Paris dunks is, they were hard to get, but they were $1,000 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Maybe, maybe not that low.
I mean, people are probably hearing, especially these people who listen on Zoom.
Yeah.
They're like, what are these crazy people spending all of this money? But
right.
I mean,
well, there's people that have spent $100,000. I think I looked the other day, and I think for the Paris dunks, they went from $6,000 to $150,000. And they're nothing crazy. They're nothing nice. They're nothing. Well, I mean, for a collector, I'm sure there's that collector out there that's their grail.
What's your crazy shoe?
Man, I'm pretty simple. I want to get to be honest, I just want to get a couple things back that I shouldn't have sold. We had to get the trees cut down at our house, and I used, a big shoe to pay it off. So I used the Travis Frag highs to pay it off. And, that's a $4,000 shoe. I want to get them back.
Yeah.
And I paid a lot, but I bought it right before the market peaked because I knew when the release happened on, excuse me, when the release happened on his site that they were going to be really difficult to get and the stock was going to be low. So that night when they released, I immediately went on StockX and bought them, and I got them for $2,400, and I ended up having to sell them, but still, I mean, $2,400 is a ton of money. It's not a great deal by any means, but
no, unless
especially when the retail is what, 200.
unless you can get them used.
Yeah, right. And I mean, sometimes you'll find a steal for like 2,500 for those, but that's not a steal.
Man, I think mine is the one that the M&M 4.
Those are amazing.
I think those are
cool.
like $15K.
Have you seen the M&M 2s as well?
Yeah.
I love the 4s are obviously the best. They have like the little Jason mask on the back, and those are really cool.
I
think those are the best 4 ever.
I
Carhartt.
Like they're just impossible to get, right? Unless you pay.
Sure. They were like 30. Obviously, that's impossible. I mean, that's a brand new car. It's a Tesla Model 3. That's crazy.
Man, if we ever got a used pair of those, man, I would give up a lot of my collection.
Yeah, I think just having that, you're definitely going to see an exponential return. It might be worth it. That was the tough thing for me with the Travis ones as well. Like I sold my 6s. It was all part of the whole like the Travis Scott thing that happened at Astro World. Like it was easier for me to do it at that time because his apology was
not very good.
Disingenuous and it was not okay. Like I thought that whole situation was very toxic and very wrong. And I mean, he lied. He clearly saw the people in the crowd, like dying in front of him.
That is not, how many people died? Like 6?
I think it ended up being over 10, right?
Sheesh.
Over 10? I think so. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so it made it much easier to make those moves. But now I'm like, well, shit, I really liked those shoes.
You forgave them.
I definitely have lost sleep at night. Maybe that's why I haven't slept great lately. I'm still struggling with that sale.
Yeah.
And then I ended up buying Kelly a pair of 6s, right before it. And I'm like, well, we have to have the matching shoes.
Man, I slowly built my Travis. I have the 4s, the 1s, and the 6s.
If you ever find a $300 pair of those 6s that walk through the door in size 11, I'm sure Paris will take them, but maybe I can have them.
They do, they're slow to sell.
Very slow, I'm sure. Yeah,
they don't move. They don't.
I don't
move
get
too
it.
much.
I feel like 6s aren't 1s. I feel like that's the major thing is the kids like Dunks, 1s, and sometimes a New Balance here and there or a Yeezy.
Yeah,
it's really interesting what people like more than others and what moves markets.
Yeah, and then depending on store. So like each, we have like five resale shops in in this greater Seattle area.
Right.
But they all have their own niche on what they sell.
Right. It's funny. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with clientele, like the one across the bridge. They move, stuff for $300-$400 over what the market is. And
man, but that's whack.
It's whack. It's wrong. And I hope you guys hear this. And I feel like it's taking advantage of the market. No shots fired, obviously,
but you know what it is? It's like it seems like people are paying for the pleasure of potentially being on a video.
Yeah.
And then that is nuts because we have clear examples of those customers going to another store, being offered higher, but then they'll take the lower amount.
Right.
And that happens.
That's what brought me to Paris in the first place is I had been selling to them for a while. And I was like, well, I mean, I feel like I'm actually just being really kind for no reason. Like, there's no benefit to me.
I mean, kudos to them.
Oh, like I'm on a YouTube video. Cool. But I don't want to be on a YouTube video selling this many shoes and having people in the comments call me a rat. So that's funny why I ended up
now. Their audience did not like botters.
No, they don't. So I ended up coming down to Paris and not getting put on blast and creating friendships instead of
I mean,
No, and I've
that
got
whole
nothing
thing.
against them. They're good girls.
I mean, they're
nice
just
people.
trying to, make as much as they
Right.
can, and that's fine.
And they're
But-
hustlers.
But that's, I mean, if you're talking about relationship building, they're basically saying the only way you will build a relationship is if you pay our prices then eventually we might, because it does otherwise.
Right. And the funny thing is I think the only reason the relationship was facilitated for myself is just being a bulk seller. And
Yeah.
they knew I would give them better pricing than most because I was getting everything at retail. And like I said, I got nothing against them. They're
Yeah.
sweet. We're friends. But I feel like I don't know why people pay that much.
Right.
I'll never
So if you're
understand
listening, shop around for the
Yeah.
same shoe.
Yeah. Don't ever
'Cause
go to
it's-
one place.
Man, we've had some doozies where people, come and try to resell a shoe, and it's like, you paid
This much?
There is like an example of a Guava 4
Oh, no.
used with the stitching cut out that was over asking for a new pair. I was like, I told the guy, why on earth did you buy these?
Sometimes
And
people
then
like to get
he's
taken
like-
to the
I was like,
cleaners.
"Oh, okay. But anyway, but hey, again, kudos to them. That's,
Right. I feel like a lot of people don't take the time to do research, similar to like when you're buying a car or something, it's, I want this one, but I'm not going to spend more than 5 minutes looking at cars because no one wants to put in the extra work. And, it's a lot to do with just what would I rather do with my time?
Yeah.
Is my
And
time worth the extra $600?
Right.
Mine is.
Yeah.
But I don't know about theirs.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've had you for an hour, over an hour. Man, a great
fun.
conversation.
Thank
Again,
you.
I love talking sneakers.
Same.
And I want to, hopefully our Zune listeners have listened through the whole thing and
Yeah. Thank you guys.
picked up some information about
Right.
sneakers.
This has been awesome. I'm so thankful to be here, man. I've really always wanted to do it. And I was telling
And
Kelly,
actually, I think there's more tie-in to what you were going through and to
Right.
sneakers. I mean, but I didn't want to have the whole conversation be about
Right,
that.
of course.
But basically, sneakers and keeping up with sneakers and having an emotional tie back is therapy.
yeah,
Is a way for someone to get out of their own heads for a
Yeah,
bit and focus on
100%.
something else. And like what you mentioned, it is a community.
yeah,
You have, groups of people that are like-minded, and you have arguments about which is the best one, which silhouette is the
100%.
best one. Is Kobe better than LeBron? Who's Jordan better than this? And this, who played in what?
right.
And those are all just really great conversations to have
For
with
sure.
people who totally dig it. And, I can totally see how if your mood isn't the best,
Oh,
or if
man.
you're feeling a certain way where maybe if you didn't have that it could lead to, okay, I need to make myself feel better in a not so healthy way.
Right.
But you can have, you can make yourself feel better by going out, participating, talking to people.
Being active.
And that, that's, anytime someone tells me, it's like, oh, I'm not feeling great, mentally I'm down. I've gotten people who have been upset with me, but I say, get a hobby.
Right. That's really
It's
a good
like,
point.
learn to take a picture, learn to paint. I mean, I make these little dopey paintings right there.
Hey, those are cool.
It's like, I make them, but they're fun. They're
Yeah,
easy
they're
to
neat.
do. You can just, and then again, the
It's a
whole
great
point is that
distraction.
it takes you out of,
Yeah.
it takes you out of yourself.
Distractions are important, especially nowadays.
And perspective, right? Of, what I'm going through. It's
Yeah.
what you're going through, I mean, I'm not saying that all problems are super easy and can just go away.
Right. Of course.
But there's a big chunk of them that are temporary. And that
Right.
there's things that you can do to get yourself out, but you can't just be in yourself and in your brain.
100%.
Get out there, try something.
Talk to people. If you're struggling, definitely talk to your friends if it's mental.
Right. And there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
There's sneaker. If you like horror, there's horror sneakers.
Yeah.
If there's
There's
just
sneakers
so much.
after beer if you love beer. I know a ton of people drink. There's the Heinekens. There's the the Newcastle brown ales, and these are like actual Nike sneakers. So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy.
So I think that I want that to be the takeaway of, yes, you have to work on your problems and you have to, the whole, know yourself thing.
For sure.
But then, don't think that it's going to be that you have to go through a set way. Like you can find your way through a hobby, whether it be sneakers or any other. Well, anyway, so I thank you so much for chatting.
Find community.
Like we can go on.
I'm sure we could.
Forever.
We could have been doing this all night. I'm confident in this.
But again, I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it. Thank you. Is there anything that you want to shout out, promote, have people follow?
If you ever want to find out about the sneaker industry more, just shoot me a DM on Twitter at the A-Team Chefs. We'll get you sorted and help you out.
Perfect.
It's TheAteamChefs.
I'll put that in the show notes.
No worries. Thanks.
All right. So everyone, thank you for listening. Again, I love this stuff. So
Same.
I want to talk about it with people who love it probably even more and can have, really interesting conversations about it, which I think we totally did. Don't forget to support the sponsors, Rancho Bravo Tacos on Capitol Hill and in Wallingford. And since we've been talking about sneakers, Soulmates. They're at 1422 Harvard Ave, just above the QFC in Capitol Hill, and sms206.shop. They have deals of the day almost every day, if I remember to put it.
And the best selection in Seattle, without a doubt.
We have a lot of shoes.
The best selection.
So go follow them on Instagram, Soulmates206. If you click that link in the bio, you can sign up for text messaging deals and then sign up for the email list where you'll also be emailed some pretty good offers. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you for Kelly for listening to us talk even more about sneakers. And thank you until the next one. Adios.
All right.